The January jobs report pointing to a gray-shaped economy. Sectors geared toward older Americans.
Older. Psst.
Jerry, I'm casting no aspersions here. Healthcare, social assistance driving the majority of job growth. Also, those ages 55 and older now hold 70% of America's wealth, and they account for nearly half of consumer spending. But the White House sees jobs for younger people growing in the months ahead. Watch.
We had a big increase in construction jobs, and everyone had been asking me for months, when are the manufacturing jobs going to appear? And I said, well, this is a matter of sequencing. Unlike in the financial markets where the transaction's instantaneous, that when a corporation decides to reshore, when a foreign corporation decides to build a new factory, there's planning, there's permitting, and now we're starting to see the groundbreaking. So first we're going to get the construction jobs. I would expect a continual pickup in construction, and then over the coming months we will see a pickup in factory jobs.
So, Jillian, I want to dig in with you on the gray-shaped economy. So I think it means a couple things. One, it could mean older Americans working longer. It also just means an economy that's focused on serving the needs of older Americans. Healthcare, typically in that bucket. Social assistance. I can't wait to get to you, Jerry, because you're already shaking your head.
I'm on fire.
But Jillian, I start with you. What do older Americans working longer? What do you think about that?
I would simply be concerned about whether or not they need to. I love it if they choose to, but if their retirement plan and all of their investment is not holding them financially, that would be concerning to me. That's my take on it. I want my mom to be able to retire. I don't want her to have to work. I want my mother-in-law to be able to retire if they choose to. I see I'm gonna get nailed.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Can I give you just a little data next? We talked about that, I think it was earlier in the week, and it's kind of a mix. Some say they feel like they need to supplement their income, but kind of almost the same percentage, slightly less, say, I want to do it. Like and it's kind of staying active and it's keeping engaged.
If it gives them a sense of purpose, absolutely. It's really honestly just their financial health that would concern me. I would love for this to be a choice, not a necessity in your golden years. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, so now Jerry is just raring to go
this.
here.
Am I
going to get fire coming my way? Because I'm just the messenger.
No, I'm just going to go this way.
Okay, you go there.
Okay. The whole approach on this topic is like there's this weird segment of Americans called old people. Like you're talking about them like they're not your mother, they're not your aunt, they're not your uncle.
I am not speaking of them in that regard. I'm just saying, I'm just merely relaying the facts of the situation.
You did say older American.
Or they're not.
Well, what should I say?
Well, I mean 55 plus.
Higher age American?
55 is young. Look, my only point here, and I'm not going to speak to people working. I mean, I think it's fine if you want to. That would be better. I think a lot of people have to work, to your point. But what I think is stop dissing on the boomers. They're the ones with all the money. They're spending the money. You should be sucking up to them. They've got everything. Come on.
Okay.
Am I right?
No, I mean, look, a lot of people are, actually, now, again.
Where would we be?
I'm the messenger, Jerry, but I
love you.
I'm telling you, and I agree with you on this, actually, there are a lot of younger Americans, you hear this all the time, who would say, the boomers had it easier than us. They bought their house with a can of cranberry sauce.
You guys just want to point
Interest rates were insane when they were young.
I'm not sure they got their facts right, but there is that dynamic. I agree with you.
But instead of complaining about boomers, why not thank them for the whole longevity health industry, right? We are the people paying for that, and all the young people are going to benefit from all this continuous glucose monitoring, creatine, omega fatty 3 acids, which I do take, and all this nonsense that's coming up. We're paying for it. You're going to benefit.
I want to be the first to thank you for those things. Very important stuff. Now, Dagan, it is true that we've got, and you mentioned this in the first hour, we've got an economy that is kind of, it moves around the largest population, the populations with the highest income. So it's gone in the healthcare direction. It's gone social assistance. I don't think there's any denying that. I think the issue is that a sign of unhealth for the economy, or is that something maybe that once AI gets deployed, it can help us deal with that growing and very costly sector?
AI and the nation need to deal with the exploding cost of healthcare for us to continue to exist as a nation. Because there's something called, I'm going to get in the weeds. It's called Baumol's cost disease. It's a theory. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Do you? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Don't ask me to define it, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
In essence, the increasing productivity in some sectors pushes up wages in stagnant sectors, and that's what's happening in healthcare in particular. That healthcare costs, there's little productivity, and healthcare costs are exploding to the upside, including wages. And unless we figure out a way to reduce cost and increase productivity in the healthcare sector, which is dominated by the federal government, it's almost wholly government dependent, and we need double-digit productivity gains, we will have a federal budget that collapses under its own weight. And we're already nearing that point. If you just look at the basic math that, Social Security and Medicare far outstrip what we spend on any other area of the economy. And so I think that in the short run, you could get apps from companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, Claude and Anthropic, where they are medical AI apps for patients and even medical professionals that are much better at doing diagnostics and the like. But you're also going to have doctors and nurses who work more, and people lose their minds when you start saying that. But less bureaucracy, less paperwork, and more hours directed at actually at performing healthcare functions. That's how you increase productivity.
Baumol's cost disease, B-A-U-M-O-L. Is that right?
Do plain old Phillips curve?
No, Phillips curve's out. Baumol's cost disease is in. All right, now.
I have good news, Brian.
Yes, that's what I wanted you
You're
to do.
such a boo-hoo. Negative Nancy.
Jerry made me sound like a boo-hoo. I just read
Scott
the intro.
Manufacturing jobs are up 5,000. He said, finally, we're getting manufacturing jobs. It starts with construction jobs.
Wait, it's a gain of 5,000 in January, but they're down.
I don't care.
Last year.
This is the cyclical recovery. It's starting. One data point does not a trend make, but this is starting. This is what Scott Bessent says. Okay. We're finally getting manufacturing jobs, maybe skews younger. We talked yesterday about the tech force. The government's trying to hire all these young AI kids to come in, work for the government for a couple years, and then connect them with the private sector. That's good, young, good paying jobs. Here's my other antidote to you. I'm a big, bad economist, and I come to you and I say, these aren't good quality jobs in the jobs report. And my answer to that is, with wage growth of 0.4%, average hourly earnings, every job's a good job. That's a good number. That's a quality job, no matter if you tell me what age limit, what income spectrum, what sector. That's good wage growth that I like it regardless of where. Other good anecdotes from yesterday. Part-time jobs going down. Maybe is that because people don't have to work 2 jobs because things are starting to get a little better? I don't know.
Wage gains, maybe.
Let's dive into a little bit more.
Okay.
And then finally, we've talked about sort of the 55 and plus. I'll cite my dad, 77 next month, still working, desperate to because he loves it. Loves what he does.
Doesn't look a day over 60.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a group of elders out there who just want to stay sharp, who want to do it. So I guess I'm not as down on the labor market as you might think.
But with respect to Secretary Bessent, he can brag about these manufacturing jobs all he wants, but last month the vast majority were healthcare jobs.
Fair.
In the last year, healthcare workers that kept the market, the entire job market propped up. And directly or indirectly, that is government spending. Medicare and Medicaid make up roughly one third of the federal budget. And the cost continues to balloon because of their health.
I'm uniquely aware of this.
Right.
We spend more
I'm
than we do on defense. I think it has a compound annual growth rate of 9.5%. But the reason is because it is profitable. It's by design. So there's no focus on prevention because prevention is not profitable. You talk about all this money being spent. Somebody is buying a lot of stuff with all that money. So the system is not incentivized to heal people, and that's the problem.